Welcome to part 2 of documenting my project for my Notary Public to Data Analyst transition. So I'm coming to you today from Mount Shasta, California. I went to a little sweat lodge ceremony, at Temazcal, in the Southern Temple tradition. But I could go deeper, but that's best for another video on a different channel. Okay, so last time I mentioned a bit about having some consternation, just trouble deciding on a project. And part of what fed to that was really the journey I've been to thus far. I've gone through, 20 weeks of technical skills plus soft skills plus resume stuff plus practicing interviewing stuff, and that's a lot for this to process, right? And then we're being asked to now do a project combining everything all together right now. And by the way, your future does not depend on this whatsoever at all. Added sarcasm, but it does add to the stress manifesting as consternation, because I went through my brain shifting from one skill set to another skill set, like from Excel to SQL to Tableau to R to AI to that's a lot. And then to go back to the things that I enjoyed the most, right? Because there's time here. It's this time element of June 17th, 6 p.m. That, that's the finish line. So I was like, okay, that means I should go with what I got the most joy from. I was like, Tableau. Okay, great. Then it's like, okay, I have, finally I settled on a data set that fired me up. Because I can use it in many different ways to convey a story, if not even more stories from within that data set. But I wanted those to relate to a business, a business task, an actual, use case, right? In this case, efficiency. Where's time being spent? Where's the money coming from? Where are resources being utilized most efficiently? How can we maximize that? Are there any vulnerabilities? I was like, okay, that's a good place to start. So after going back and reviewing, some of the Tableau, and then even using just some YouTube videos to just hearing people talk about data visualization, then it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm back in the mindset. I'm ready to go, and I can start putting a project together. Right? So now I'm going to pivot to the main obstacle of the project. That was really when I got going. After done the cleaning, I identified the question that I wanted to answer or wanted to explore with this data set. But then it was like, oh wait, the county data that I see in my notary accounting software doesn't export into CSV files. I'm having that level, that perspective, be key to moving from the big picture to the next level, to niche down further and further and further, right? So we can go from the county to city to cities, clients, to days of the week, even, right? So I'll be honest, I opened up, ChatGPT. I have the Plus version right now, and I gave it a role of being Alex the analyst, because he was a teacher that, one, I also bought Analyst Builder as a way to continue learning post the data and the North America data program. But also really like his teaching style, the frequency of his voice, his personality. I'm just like, yeah, man, that's cool. You get stuff done, but it's he's not a robot, and neither am I. So I'm like, cool, awesome. I'll give him that. I made sure the GPT knew exactly who he was, and then I fed us the information so they will know exactly who Alex the Analyst is. And so then I asked this question, like, hey bro, I want to include county data because this is the data that I have, and am I on the right track? Is this thinking? He was like, boom, answer, like awesome, great. I was like, now, where can I get a data set? And then it provided me a data set. I went to it, looked it up. I'm like, sweet, I can use this. So then, like, I downloaded that. So now I got my software, my accounting software data. I have this county data set that's like public record. I'm like, awesome. Now the question is like, how am I going to bring it all together, in Tableau? Because I could have done, in Tableau. I could do it in Excel and Google Sheets via VLOOKUP, or I can just do it, manually. But I wasn't going to really practice any skill if I just went in and put in Alameda's, City of Alameda, it's an Alameda County. City of San Pablo, San Contra Costa. It's like, so the first approach was to join the data sets in Tableau. Hindsight, I should have just put them all to a single worksheet and then upload and then try to join the information. But I didn't do it that way. And so that caused an issue. And the issue was this one straggling piece of data for the county of San Francisco, which has one city. So why is this one piece of data, this one signing row appearing in a different column for the bar chart? And that's where I got into the rabbit hole. Then I was going through my data, it's like sorting it out. Well, San Francisco versus South San Francisco. Let me look at, okay, is there anything that could be throwing it off with a zip code that maybe the county data has a zip code in one county versus the other, or somehow, that could be causing the issue. Well, after about an hour and a half of that, I was just like, my brain is tired, close this stuff down, hit save, and then I'll come back another day. I.e. the next day, because there's that deadline, June 17, 6 p.m. So I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to go VLOOKUP. So I opened up a whole nother Tableau workbook to do it this way. And so after running through several issues with the formula, like not parsing correctly and then getting different errors, I was like, That was just kind of like, hello, dude. So then I turned to Alex the Analyst, old GPT. Bro, do I need to like add these together into a single workbook? I was like, I think that's what I need to do. All right, and sure enough, that's what I needed to do. I needed to put those two things into one workbook. And so now get rid of the parsing. And then I was like, you know what? Great, I'm gonna do that, but first, I'm gonna remove all these other counties that aren't critical to the data set. And since I am the stakeholder, I'd be like, Isaac, do you want to do that? It's like, do you want to make that cleaner? Do you see any objections? So I was like, no. Okay, let's consult with Alex, the analyst on GPT. And he was like, no, you can totally do that. I was like, sweet. Because as Notary Public, we are commissioned for one state. So then I don't need the counties of Puerto Rico, nor any other territory, or any other neighboring state. So I can eliminate a whole bunch of rows. So through filtering, I got rid of all these other counties whose data was not critical to mine. And then to further cut down the potential errors, I eliminated every single county that I don't work in. Number one was everything in Southern California. I don't live down there, so I don't do signings down there. Simple. And then Northern California, I narrowed it down to 10 counties. Just figured, just in case it's a straggler, 10 counties. And then now when I had that cleaned up, narrowed down, then I added a different sheet. I copied that data over, and then I was ready to do the VLOOKUP. It worked like a charm, much better than me going in and putting in all the county data myself. 2 seconds over 30 minutes, it's like, or 15 minutes, no brainer. And then lo and behold, everything flowed for me. And I was like on fire. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a dashboard, I wanted to do a story, I wanted to have the supporting worksheets. And it was kind of like a matter of just like, making stuff look pretty, adjusting some of the captions. And then lastly, to wrap up this video, the last thing I changed before you can view the final product, or this version of the final product on the Data Republic, was the first story of the story. Because for each of the story slides, you can, by best practice, to add like a worksheet that you use that goes along with the narrative in that section. Again, I wanted to go from top to down, so it didn't make sense to have the dashboard there. I was like, I could have the dashboard as a standalone. I'll figure that out after I get this done. And, let's make a different sheet, So looking at all of the earnings that I have made for this time period that's in the data set. Because that's one thing that the Notary Gadget accounting software doesn't allow me to see anything in the bar chart by quarter. It's like pies and stuff. And I can't look back more than 10 weeks to compare earnings week to week to week. So as I was decided that I want to go monthly, quarterly, yearly, weekly, I was like, okay, this is like, I finally settled on quarterly because there is like you'll see in the data set, you'll see in the visualization that you can definitely tell when the refi boom was happening. And so it was great to have that there. And I thought that would be a great way to like introduce the entire narrative on why I'm even looking at this data to begin with. So there it is. So I got it done by Monday, June 17th. I believe it was somewhere like around 2:30, 3 o'clock. So 3 hours ahead of deadline. Updated my links quickly, uploaded it, submitted my stuff that I need to submit through Merit America. Then like I shared the success of finishing the first project. And in the Slack group for Merit America and my data group. And that felt pretty great to get across that wheel. And hence why I'm in Mount Shasta, because it is a treat to participate in sacred ceremony with the mountain overlooking us, bald eagles flying overhead, new family that I'm getting to meet in this circle as we enter the womb or the sacred temple. And for this audience, I'll say, sweat it out. Just sweat it out. And get a great night's sleep and make my way down to the Bay Area again today. Once I'm done with this video, I'll edit back home and take on the next phase, which is job success. Thank you for tuning in. There'll probably be a third video. Yeah, there will be. I kind of want to like practice my narrative skills. So I'll see y'all then. Ciao for now.